The stream starts up in a little bit. I'm just setting some stuff up. Where's post? Where else am I posting? Live now. So I am streaming. Hello viewers, be right with you once my actual world optimization thing starts up. Hey dude.
Hi.
Increase your volume. Hopefully it'll slow through to the actual stream, but yeah.
Easiest way to test is
Yeah.
to check on streaming.
Yes, clearly. I need to decrease the volume of this other thing. But yeah, some nice some music too. Okay. I don't know why my speakers are so soft. Wow. Okay. Let's see, voice connected. Cool. Hey, Lolly Supremo. I will get started with the stream in a little bit. We're just syncing some stuff up. I need to make sure that you can hear my beloved guest Cappy, and then we can go ahead and continue. Yes, it's very important. Let me view my own thing. My own stream. Yeah, sure. Why do I get?
Rehearsals are underway for the event of 2019.
I'm really getting ads watching my own stream on my phone. Wow.
This is why we use AdBlock.
Yes, AdBlock is good. Yep. I'm really getting ads watching my own stream on my phone. Wow. Okay, yeah. Just So yeah, you are still a bit soft. So I'm going
I can
to
increase my own volume, probably.
yeah. I increased my volume in the call, but let me increase the volume in the computer so that okay, I'll go to maximum. But then this one I'll have to lower back down to 1. Yeah. Just refresh this. I'm playing some music. You'll see the.
I'll just have a look at the stream itself.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, just took a look. 19 mic in the chat there. Okay, cool. So. Yeah. We should be good to go. Let me just. Oh wait, I can just lower. If I lower desktop, oh yeah, then it'll decrease both of you. Yeah, whatever. This should be fine for now, I guess. Now I can go ahead and
Time will tell.
yeah. Turn this guy on. Okay, now you guys should be able to see the see everything here. We got the world. Wonderful, wonderful world. Cool. I will have chat up. So yeah. Let's have some fun here. So this is Uni. For those of you who do not know, it's a very wonderful program. Very wonderful. And this is my map. So as you have seen. So yeah, different rooms. You got your different rooms. This is the main room over here. So okay, I guess I have a list of stuff to implement, but like I guess since Cappy's here, we can talk about some improvements or just some performance stuff first. If anyone has any questions at all in the chat, feel free to post them. I'll be watching the chat. Also, this music is courtesy of Radio Hyrule. It's a great radio station, and I recommend listening to it. So cool. Without further ado, we can, yeah. Okay, so
step 1, I would recommend sharing screens with me on Discord. That way I am not looking at the screen to try and figure out what you were trying to talk to me about.
Bingo. Yes, very smart. Let me yeah. Turn on screen share. Application window. Hopefully I have enough bandwidth for this, so you can see this. Okay, cool.
It doesn't have to be a great quality. You can keep it low, just so I can see.
Screen share. Volume change windows. Wait. Stream quotes. Yeah, this is fine. Whatever. Cool. Okay. So you can see it now? We're good? Cool. So,
indeed.
nice. So, this is this. One thing that I definitely want to do is expand out these two rooms here. This one, I'm probably gonna get rid of this one and make it into like beds. I'm gonna expand this out and make more beds because some of y'all are like, oh, we need official dorms for blah blah blah. And then I'm like, okay, I guess I can give you official dorms. Not like 16 different rooms though. 16 rooms is a lot. I can do that later once, because that's just busy work. Just basically taking this, this bed prefab, and just dropping a bunch of them in there.
I was going to say a really good idea is to, because a lot of feedback I'd heard when I first played on the map, from what people were saying, was like increasing the amount of people inside of the rooms, or like increasing the rooms themselves.
To more rooms in general?
Yeah.
Okay.
So the easiest way to perform that task without just obliterating the amount of space that you have remaining is to double up on bunks, so you can make a double bunk bed.
Yeah.
And have 8 rooms instead of 16.
16 rooms is a lot, but yeah, the thing is definitely I was thinking of putting 8 over here in this interrogation room too, and 8 over here in this room. I might eventually expand it out to have 4 different bedrooms. But just in general, it makes more sense in terms of a precinct to have only a couple of rooms, but I could always just make more jail cells, but that's for the future. That's a future improvement.
You do have plenty of room behind where you currently got the set of jail cells. So
yeah, I have a lot of room.
Yeah,
this is just
create a hallway that has a bunch of
them
down.
This out this right way. Yeah, I was eventually. That's definitely something I can do. But yeah, that's for later now. That's for later.
One of the first things you should be doing is utilizing the amount of space that you have now.
True.
With all of the white space that you see on the map, it's going to a lot more work to be able to see where players are going in the maps if they go from the hallway to the autopsy room or from there to one of the interrogation rooms. It's a lot of work to follow them around, and by the time you get there, they've already gone somewhere else.
True.
So trying to make that space either smaller or giving players more things to look at while that's happening.
Yeah. So the thing is,
if you want.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I've definitely gotten conflicting feedback in terms of the voices, right? It's definitely harder. Like for example, the silent room, which I had to add back. So it's the only reason you can't hear people in the silent room is because it's physically away from the actual, this entry, this mod room. So that's why I sort of spaced out these rooms here, so that people could hear them less often. And yeah.
Yeah, that's fair enough.
Yeah.
Also, another thing, I have noticed that you have a fire extinguisher hidden underneath the map. When I broke out of the map the other day, I ran around and I found the fire extinguisher. It's underneath them.
Wait, the fire extinguisher? Well, it's underneath the map. Let me see. Let me see that. Object. Ooh. Pickups. Fire extinguisher.
I managed to find
Oops. There. Okay. We're all good. You got one more item, guys. Yeah, this is the map, Suki. Okay, there. You got one more item to use.
The whole plug it up.
Yeah, I have. Yeah. Okay, cool. Oh man, you found a progress. Yeah. You want another item as well? Where is this? You turn this guy on. There's a flashlight, but you won't be able to actually use it because everyone complains about lights.
Yeah.
Yeah. Turn away.
Depends on your lighting settings and stuff. You can improve.
Yeah.
The amount of optimization that the light has, so you can decrease the amount of draw that it makes, which makes it a lot less tacked on a lot of computers. But with VRChat, it's a lot more difficult.
Yeah.
To find that.
For sure. Yeah. Okay. So, because that's why I use baked lighting. So all of this lighting here, for those of you watching the stream, it's baked into the meshes. So each of these lights here, if I move this, the lighting doesn't change, right? So if I even wanted to move this red wall all the way over here, it's still red. So it's baked onto all this stuff. So this saves CPU time. Save CPU time, but it also means that we can't do dynamic lighting, like switching off lights, switching on and off. But yeah, so that's that. Okay, so Cappy, is there anything you wanted to specifically go over, or do you just want to take a look at some stuff so that we can?
All right, first one's a pet peeve. Why the fuck are you isometric?
Oh, wait.
All right, so if you press the white cube over where it's got the different axes, right?
Yeah.
There's a white cube in the middle. You can click that, you can get a perspective.
Yeah, do this. Yeah.
Curious as to why you use isometric over perspective.
I mean, I like to just, it's easier to see, like if I have, like if I'm on like a specific thing, right? Like if I just, yeah, it depends on what view I'm using. I love to use the F key to focus on stuff. It's lifesaver. Yeah.
Because I say, if you use isometric, you lose depth, which sometimes it makes it harder to see what the object's actually going to be like.
True. Yeah. Yeah. Definitely makes sense. Yeah. Okay, cool. So this is one of the desks. Just, for example, table here.
Has that got a mesh collider on it?
No. The table's a mesh. It has a box collider, which is literally only the top of the table. So you can go through these legs. I just didn't think it was worth it adding 4 more colliders for each table. Like, it could be.
I mean, you could just grab the collider and drag it further down.
Or like, just add a collider button, yeah.
Make it larger.
But the thing is, things should be able to go under the table, right? That's the thing.
Yeah, that's
so I mean, I think this is fine. Since the legs are so small anyways, it won't really matter. But yeah. Yes, thank you, Suki. All the detective game references are really great. I recommend all of these games for people who like detective games and have not played any of them. But yes. Okay. So yeah, that's with these tables here. Yeah, none of these things have mesh colliders. They all have box colliders. They're definitely a lot more efficient. For those of you who don't know, because there's just like less, it's easier to compute, collisions with boxes and spheres and stuff.
Much less complex calculations of physics.
Your computer can only do so much. Yeah.
Alright.
Cool.
So I'm wondering if you've done your crunching of textures yet.
Crunching, like so let's get back to
so just go to where the textures are located.
These textures are here. Spot. So for example, let's just pick something, file cabinet, right? So this is the texture for the file cabinet. Let me find a file cabinet, right? So this is an example of a file cabinet, right? So this is the texture that goes on this. Is something you can see? Yeah. It's just fillet cabinet. Okay, so this is the so I haven't really messed with this stuff, but yeah.
Another thing I'm curious about as well is your textures. Are all of your textures 1024 by 1024?
In terms of size?
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
See, the easiest way to do it is to select everything at once to see what the numbers show up in the display area. So just press Control A.
Or wait, some of these aren't actually. Some of these are freaking paint.net files. Because I just leave them in here. Paint.net's a great program, guys.
Listen to him, GIMP is better.
Yeah. Okay, so you can probably tone this down to. This is just like the horizontal size, or whatever. Like.
So from the looks of it, they do seem to be around about the same size. So the easiest thing to do right now is, well, I wouldn't want to do this straight away because this can take ages to do. But in the default area down the very bottom of the import settings for the textures, you can see a bunch of different stuff like max size, resize algorithm, compression, and use crunch compression. So first thing you want to do is change 2048 to 1024.
Okay. Yeah.
And click use crunch compression, then click apply.
Click
this can take a while to do.
Okay. Yeah. So. Okay. So let's So this crunch compression here, right? So that is it's sort of like compressing it, and then eventually it's compressing it once it's being used.
So, it's not that exactly. So crunch compression is what it does is it'll take a texture, it'll take all its maps, so RGBA, red, green, blue, and alpha.
Yeah.
And what it'll do is it'll compress it and decrease the quality of it to a point, but trying its best to keep as much fidelity and detail as it used to have. So what it does is, because of 2017's update, back before 2017 it was horrible. You try to do it and everything would just look absolutely like horrendous. But now it's been improved to the a bunch. I'm smaller than they used to be, but you're keeping essentially the exact same quality of image, only a slight bit worse. But you'll find that out as soon as it's finished.
Yeah.
So if we were to like go back to the first one we had, the filing cabinet texture,
Yeah.
you would have noticed that it was 0.7 in size.
It was
after you finish this, it should be around about 400 kilobytes.
So 0.7 megs, is that what it was?
Essentially, you've saved.
Okay, yeah.
Which in large quantities, assuming all of them were 0.7 a meg, and we've got 85 different textures, you've essentially saved yourself 95 megabytes.
That's a
load of shit. 595. No, 59.5 megabytes or some shit.
Yeah.
Like that.
Okay.
You're saving yourself a lot of space, give or take.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. Very good. Yeah, that's cool. So this is almost done. Cool. So yeah, especially for some of these smaller images, like you don't even need to have this much this long, even 1024. But yeah.
Yeah. So even 1024 is a very large. You can even force the thing to be much smaller as well. You could go to 512 if you really wanted to.
Okay. So, so you saw that? I didn't see a difference in these. I honestly did not. But you can watch the stream.
They don't change. Yeah. That's how.
Yeah.
That's how much crunch compression has improved.
Oh, wow.
The tech that you will not see a difference unless it's like a huge.
Where is this? 4K 170 kilobytes? Is that less than what you thought?
It is less than what I thought. I said around 400, but it's 170. So you've saved yourself essentially even more than what I said you saved. That's the greatness of crunch compression now. You've got the exact same quality of texture, if not just a tiny bit worse, for the sake of saving a bunch of space. This makes download sizes much smaller for everyone who wants to join the map, which also in turn means that the quality of the textures are much less, which means you're not rendering as much.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. That means it'll people will have an easier time rendering, running around the world and stuff. I know Tsuki was saying there's this hand texture. I literally don't know where it came with the asset pack. I literally don't know why. Is there like a... I don't even know if there's actually a hand prefab in here. Like I don't think so.
If you type in hand, perhaps something will come up.
Hand. Yeah, that's not. Nah.
Interesting.
Okay, yeah. Either way, so those textures are for the main jail interior. I have a bunch of random things that I added in here. I can compress these, but these are somewhat like this one's big. This one's big. I can go ahead and compress this one. 0.7. Now it's 200. Okay. Wow, 1.2 megabytes. You can find your own biz, man. Oh wait, within height being multiple of 4.
Do I have to height is not. No, the problem is it's.
Oh, 647. It's not 648. It's not 648.
Yeah.
Yes, there is a hint coin. So if you can go find it somewhere.
Its height is not.
I will.
It doesn't go by the power. Not the power of 4. But the multiple.
I'll opt it.
Well.
No, it's not. Okay, cool. So what else?
I think a good thing that should be done is we should probably plug that hole that I found to get it out.
True. Yeah.
So that's located just at the stairs in the spectator area. As soon as you go upstairs, there's a little platform to the right, which literally just takes.
Okay, there, 17 kilobytes. Look at that. So as soon as you go up the stairs, this thing.
Yep. There's a little platform.
What
at the exact end of that stairs is a platform just above it.
Yeah, this one. Yeah, and the little hole. Okay, yeah.
Yeah. So I would probably focus on the stairs to get the camera. But
yeah, sure.
The easiest way for us to find that out, seeming how we do not have any real-time lighting happening in the editor, so we can't actually see depth, is I would probably place a directional light in the scene.
Do it now?
What this will do, it'll cast real-time lighting onto it, and that will help you be able to.
Well, why can't I just do this?
Yeah, that's not the problem though. The staircase isn't the problem. It's the fact that there's a platform that you can. So on the gray, the more gray blocks that you've got there.
Yeah.
To the right side, the one just after that. So on
the
right.
I think. Oh, I think I did this. Yeah, I think I plugged this one.
You already. Oh, okay.
Yeah, I plugged it. Yeah, I used that guy. Cause it. Yeah. The thing about these is that there's no outlines, so like you really can't tell. Some of them are. And I also make it so that they don't like reflect light, so they're solid just for the aesthetic. But yeah.
Cool. Okay. So probably the next thing we should be looking at is. Did you fix up the baking on the doors? I do remember last time. I haven't played the map in a while, so I'm a bit out of date.
Maybe. So.
Just
really, yeah. So I need to, once I rebake the lighting, they'll be fine. Because the thing is, this specific door, I made them all. So fun fact for you folks watching the stream, baked lighting, it only works on static objects that don't move. So that way, if things don't move, you can bake the lighting, and then the lighting will be the same no matter what. For these doors, I used to have them as static, as unstatic, like you can see, like this door is not static, so the lighting will be baked onto it. But since the light map is just bad for this door, we want it to be static, so that there's no lighting and it looks
empty game object. The door's underneath it.
Yeah, I just it prompted me to go. So yeah, like for example, this should be so that these doors look like these doors. These doors are static, as you can see, and they I think there's only like 4 of those doors that actually have.
There's one.
Anything. Yeah, in both of those rooms. No, this guy. Yeah, I think it's literally just all the doors that like lead outwards. For some reason, when I updated the prefab, it didn't actually update those. Fun fact for folks. Yeah.
Prefab if you assign them.
Yeah, like right here, the text is black, so it's not actually powerful. Like I should just do revert value prefab. Wait.
If you click the apply button, it'll assign it to all of them.
Oh, revert value prefab. Wait. Yes. Apply. Okay. Cool. Now if you go to this one, yeah, cause it's a prefab. Yeah, so that's the prefab. Yeah, it was weird. It's weird. It's weird. Okay, cool. So that's that. Okay, so what's next? Okay, so anything specific? Yeah. So we have
text. Things that... You talk.
Oh yeah. So the textures are done for the most part. So do you have an understanding of what takes up the most space in terms of memory or just computing power for VRChat? Can you sort of just go over that in a general sense?
Alright, so in terms of working on a world or anything in Unity for that matter, most people will think that if a world is big, it's going to take up a lot of time to compute and to render and do stuff like that. That's not true. You could have a world that's 200 megabytes in size and you could render it in half a second. Even if you have like a lower quality computer, so like a GTX 760 or something in it.
Okay.
So the stuff that causes a world to be much harder to render and load is what is being called. And the easiest way to find out what that is, this is a bit more on the complex side, so I'm going to understand if a lot of people will not know what this is. But if you go to Window, there's a profiler.
Yeah, profiling. I've used this before in different projects.
So the profiler will detail what scripts are doing. It will detail what lighting's doing.
It's got a cool graph.
What sound is doing. Where your memory is going. It talks about everything that is happening. What's taking the largest amount. Now, as you can see there, so you got rendering, which is like showing up the materials on the map. It'll show up on the walls. You got scripts, which is scripts. Physics, which is all your colliders, your rigid bodies, how all they interact with each other and stuff like that. Garbage collector, got no clue what that is. VSync is VSync. No one really knows what VSyncing. Global illumination is your lighting settings. So it's not the lighting itself, it's how the lighting is interacting with the world. UI is UI, and then others is just a whole bunch of other stuff. So usually like Unity dependent system operations and stuff like that.
So garbage collector, for the most part, in terms of programming languages, it sort of picks up all the variables and everything that's done being used to free up memory. I don't think that would ever take too much memory or too much space. The VSync's some sort of thing where I don't really know what VSync is too often, but it's something to do with just display settings.
VSync is generally used to match the amount of rendering per second, so like 60 hertz or some shit like that.
Okay.
It matches that to your monitor. That's VSync.
Okay. So
make sure they're rendering at the same time.
Okay, so my question here is, this is a VRChat World. You can hit the play button, right? But like, because this only records when you're playing, right?
Yep.
Okay. So if I hit this play button, I don't know what's gonna happen. Is this gonna like, play? Because like there's no...
It's going to start spouting stuff at you, yes. It will tell you everything. So the profiler, since it's going to VRChat after you upload the world, it's going to be a little bit inaccurate, but it still gives you a general understanding of where the majority of your processing is going.
Okay.
So it won't tell you exactly like rendering is causing 90% of all the load, but you'll still notice that rendering is higher than the rest of it if rendering is the issue.
So if I hit this play button right here, it'll tell me. It'll
tell you. It'll start playing everything as if you were like actually in the world.
Oh. I just thought that because like there's another button that lets you launch it in VRChat. So but this one I know it's playing, but there's no cameras rendering. So at this point,
so you can, if you want to, you can switch back to the scene view as well while the game is playing.
Yeah.
But, so what we can see right now is VSync and rendering are causing the largest amount of load. Which is about right.
So I think that's
generally what it is.
VSync, to me, it always tries to balance it out to a specific FPS. So I think that's not... I don't know. Like that's my... From what I've seen. Yeah. Oh, wait. Yeah, play. So like if I turn this off, if I turn that VSync off, it's hovering around 250 FPS. And a lot of it is the rendering. Physics isn't really, a lot of it is rendering. So because there's a lot of things in here in this world.
Yeah. And I'm not sure if it'll do it in the scene view. You usually do this in a game camera. But as you walk around the world, you'll notice the rendering will change because the rendering is based on what you can see. It's a default occlusion culling.
Okay. There's no cameras rendering.
If you can't see it, yeah.
Oh, so it already does the occlusion culling itself?
Yeah.
Okay, that's good to know.
Give me a quick second.
Yeah. For those of you who don't know, occlusion culling is if the camera can't see it, it's not rendered, which saves a lot in terms of how many objects your computer has to process. So editor overhead is so you can dig deep. Camera render. Player update time. Wait for FPS. Great. Drawing to render opaque geometry. Render job. Sure. That makes sense, I guess. It's just rendering things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what I am guessing is the geometry doesn't look complex. It doesn't look like there's too much depth to the geometry itself in terms of how many vertices are on each like wall or each table or whatever.
Yeah.
So the easiest thing for us to do right now is the issue is probably I'm not sure if your sounds are 3D or 2D. Are they 3D or are they 2D?
Oh, sounds. Let me see.
So if you check your audio sources,
yeah.
just by clicking on one of them.
Music, body announcement, right? So this one here. So I try to. Yes, this is what I use.
3D sound.
It uses max distance. Some of these don't. So generally a 3D sound, right?
So what you can do is to save you the time of increasing distance, because distance will make a change as well in your rendering as well. This will cause more stuff to be loaded.
Okay.
So what I would recommend doing, since this is VRChat and they do have a very handy script for this sort of thing, is first of all change the spatial blend down from 3D to 2D, then go up to your ONSP audio editor, which is that top component you were just looking at, is spatialization, turn that off.
Okay.
And now that sound will be completely 2D.
And that just plays it forever, no matter where everyone is?
Yep.
Oh, that's good. That's what I want for some of these. For all the announcements and all of the musics, those should be 2D. Like for this, for this, all of these musics, Minecraft music, like this, all of these. Shift, and then all the local ones, multi-object editing not supported. Wow, really?
Yeah, ONSP, you gotta do it individually. It's annoying.
Okay, so whatever. So, these two, then that's wrong in consent.
What you can do to save you some time is, if you go up to the first one we edited or any one that you've edited now, you can right-click the component.
Oh, and copy it?
Copy it.
Copy component.
And you should be able to paste it over every single other one.
Oh man, got the hacks going. PC code values. Ooh, look at that, fancy. And just to be clear, this attenuation thing is, it's we don't want that for any of our sounds. That's what makes it like when the car zooms past you, like it's right. Isn't that what that is?
Yeah. Think of it like 3D sounds. If there's something to your left and it starts playing music, you'll hear it on your left headphone more than the right. But what we've done, we've made it so no matter where that other thing is here, so like maybe there's a rabbit in the distance making a bunch of noise, rather than hearing that rabbit in the distance, you'll just hear it in your ears. All right, I'll be 1 sec.
Cool. So thanks, guys, for tuning in. Okay, 1 sec. So we're gonna go ahead and make a couple small updates here. Yeah, we're gonna take this out. Yeah, this lighting is gonna stay like this for a little bit, but I'm gonna edit this light, and you'll like purple, right? Because that's what's gonna be into sort of a dullish purple. And the really cool thing about using different colors here is that it's remember one of my buddies had a good idea of color coding the actual map, since it's hard for you to tell exactly which room's where, but if the map's color coded, it'll be easy to tell. I don't even know how I want to organize this. Oh yeah, you just go here. Yep, hello. Hey. Cool. What's next? Anything specific?
I think something else we should be doing right now is very quickly looking at the lighting settings themselves. I'm not sure how big your light maps are in terms of size.
Okay.
The easiest way to see that is just to open the lighting tab.
Lighting tab. Let me just.
On the top right, it's next to the inspector.
Oh yeah, I put it here. Okay, cool. So here's the lighting tab.
Okay. So we can optimize this a bunch. We can change that 50 megabytes to something like 10.
Wow. Wow.
So we can make this a lot smaller while keeping most, if not all, the fidelity.
Okay, cool.
So if you give me just 1 second, I'll load up the world that I have been making, and I'll quickly tell you the lighting settings from that, because I did do the optimization. I can just never remember it from the top of my head.
No, for some a bigger room. Y'all like big rooms, right?
Alright, so let's go through our lighting settings as much as we can. We'll see what we can do.
Yeah. 1 sec. Let me just yeah, go back here. Okay, cool. So this is the settings. So I think the ones that we want to look at are light mapping settings. Is that the main one?
So we're going to be looking at every single setting
right here,
and we're going to check most, if not all of them.
Okay.
So first things first, real-time global illumination should be kept on, regardless of whether we're having real-time lights or not.
Okay.
So change the tab for lighting mode from baked indirect to shadow mask.
Okay. Mixed lights provide real-time direct light.
Save a lot of load on shadows. This will make things a lot easier. Now, in our lighting settings, light mapping settings, change the light mapper from enlightened to progressive. So the settings there are mostly fine, but we are going to change a few of them. So the direct samples from 32, change that to 16.
So this is less samples or indirects. Okay.
Yeah, we are taking less samples of the map as we calculate the lighting. But we don't need the amount of samples it's trying to give us.
Yeah.
So indirect sample should be about 200.
Okay.
So the difference between a direct sample and an indirect sample, the direct sample is the first raycast or the connection that the light source makes to a wall. So from the light to the wall is a direct sample. From a wall to another wall to another wall is an indirect sample.
And that has to do with bounces, right? It's the number of times a light can bounce. Okay.
Yeah, so we only need to have 1 bounce.
Okay.
We don't need to have much more. The light map size doesn't have to be that large, but this can only be the only way you can check whether or not you might need it to be larger or smaller is to bake it first to see what comes out of it, what it spouts out. But mine's on 512. You can keep yours on 1024 if you want.
Well, let's see what happens in 512.
Yep. If you're up the very top as well, let's make sure our environment is set to the right sets of settings. So ambient mode should be baked, not real time.
Ambient mode. Yeah, makes sense.
What we're doing right now is we're going to bake as much shit as we can. We want to save as much computing power as we can from this. So now that we've done all that, we bake. There's not much else for us to do here.
Just bake it right now?
Yep.
Okay, cool.
So what you can do if you'd like, you can clear light maps if you want, and then bake.
Yeah, let me I'll just do a couple smaller things first. Actually, let's bake it. How long should this take? How long did it take for you, Matt?
So, judging from what you have right now, is you have 19 directional light maps from your old lighting settings. I'm guessing that would have taken you about 20 to 40 minutes.
Yeah.
To have that baked. This should take around about 20 minutes to do. Not much.
Okay. So this is like 20 minutes.
Sometimes it'll start really large. It'll say it's huge, and then it'll push itself down, and because it's figuring out the stuff as it goes.
Yeah, okay.
So we can still work as it's baking, you just...
Yeah, oh, it has this ETA thingy, yeah. Ooh, look at that. Oh, you can see it? Yeah, that's cool.
Stuff like
yeah. Yeah, it's just my computer's chugging. But yeah, it's good at 25, 24.
G-free.
23 minutes, okay. Who's Evan's voice of baking some shit? Yeah, so all them lights baked. Yeah. But yeah, and as you can see, especially over here. Come on, come on, come on. You can do it. You can do it. The lighting looks pretty good in terms of, yeah, like doesn't look bad at all. Maybe the shadows are a bit.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Yeah. There. Are you there? My computer just overheating. That's. I can bake after. That's really if that's may as well. Okay, yeah. Thanks for tuning in, Suki. I'll do this later. This is definitely something that we don't have to like do now, especially if it's gonna take 16 minutes, and it'll take my computer's processing power. What's that? Okay, so I've
Your CPU is probably at a very high level at the moment.
Yeah.
Okay, so we do have a bit of a problem. I can see straight away.
Yeah, 216 megabytes.
Alright, maybe we do need to increase the size of the light map. That's interesting. Yeah. When I did my lighting settings like that, it cut everything down by a bunch, but made yours larger.
Yeah, well, maybe since we're baking more, it's larger, but yeah,
oh no, that size won't go down. That's how big it is.
I thought I did force stop. Yeah. Huh, okay. I thought I hit force stop. Come on. Cool. So once this is done, then yeah. Okay, so I can always like tweak with these settings. So this still will be 13, which is still triple the thing.
Yep.
Okay, so okay, so this is still larger. Why is it actually still doing things? I hit stop.
So it's still doing a bunch of calculating and stuff like that.
Okay, whatever.
So give me a moment. I'll quickly mess with my lighting settings. I'll see if I can find a sweet spot really quick.
I can yeah, maybe we're just baking too much. But yeah, I mean, indirect resolution, all of these settings were fine for you. All the rest of the stuff in here.
Everything else seems to be okay. We just have to get this lighting fixed.
Yeah, it's all good. So yeah, I can go ahead and let me see, optimal lighting settings, but yeah. 96 debug settings, light profiles, that's debug. Okay, so that's mainly that. In terms of anything else, I don't like, the models don't seem to be too. Let me see if I look at some of these models here. How would I know if a model is specifically large? It would just be the size.
The size of it will be generally larger, or the complexity of the environment itself.
Yeah. Written coin. That's not small. Corpse dude. This is where will be VRC corpse dude. Yeah, it's a prefab. Yeah, I just tossed everything in here, which is probably not right. Yeah.
Alright, let me have a quick run through my lighting settings.
Oof. This is just for this apple. Come on. Come on. Okay, so bunch of light maps that we don't really want. Come on, hurry up.
So it looks like it's mostly done.
Yeah, I did press the force stop button, but like I can always bake it later.
I canceled it.
Yeah, it was, yeah. Once this is like, it's so much. Yeah, I can just do it later. As long as we can get some good settings. Like, it's not something that's good for everyone, but yeah. Okay, and you're gonna see terrible lights. Oh, look at that. Okay. Yeah, whatever. A lot of the time those areas. So, what else? Anything else specific? Or not?
Nothing else seems to be coming to mind.
Okay, cool. So yeah, I can go ahead and continue to add a couple of things, but yeah, and then I can go ahead and I can take another look at that lighting. So in terms of these settings here, this is currently what we have, right? And these aren't like actual, you know, large light maps at all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what we can do, we can go back to Enlighten, because I can get some settings up for that too. And because, so what progressive does is basically, what it does, it processes all of the geometry of the map and instant updates, and then over time it refines it in a way. So the first time you'll see it as it bakes, it's going to be really shit. Then it'll go over it again and again, and it gets better and better each time.
Yeah, makes sense.
Now, the more samples that it takes, we did lower the samples, and I figured that would have helped a lot with the file size, but it clearly didn't. The more samples it takes, the more refined the light map will be, which also means the larger it will be. I tried to log it as much as I could, but
yeah. Okay. Yeah. So if we do this, and then we were to generate, but yeah, we can do that. A little bit later. Resolutions, power, size. So yeah. So Enlighten. Anything else specific if this turns out to still be like the same size? Or, you know, what's causing? So right now there's 18 light maps, right? 18 of these light maps that are this size. Is there any way to like lower that? So is this just because it's just higher quality? Is that just why they're so large?
So the light map parameters are default on medium. We could make them low, which will make the size much smaller.
Okay.
But with the Enlighten settings, I would probably recommend.
Oh. Yeah,
I think for a moment.
Oh, this is the actual setting. Huh. Cool. More you know. Oh, I have to see my Steam. Steam notifications. But yeah,
so what we can start with light map parameters, we can make them default low. Should be a low setting.
That one. Yeah. Okay.
Alright, default low resolution. The first, then after that, what we could do is, we can change our light map resolution from 40 pixels. We can make that about 30. Indirect resolution with
pixels.
2 is fine.
2 is fine, I guess.
Then padding is fine as well. I would recommend for this case as well, change your baked global illumination lighting mode to subtractive, which as we do this as well, we should be turning off real-time global illumination.
So turn this one and
turn that off. Lighting mode should be subtractive.
Lighting mode. So subtractive, so.
So this will give you as well a chance to change a real-time shadow color. So you can make this either white or black, or you can use it to tint the world in a sense.
So, I mean, shadows should be dark, right? I don't know how dark this goes, or how, you know, how often this just does whatever.
Basically what the shadow color, the real-time shadow color is, it's used for mixing real-time shadows with baked light maps.
Real-time shadows. Okay.
So it sort of bridges the gap.
Oh, this is real time. Oh, real time. Okay, yeah. Yeah. So this is like, if we have mixed light, it would cast light, you know, cast shadows on like the players and the any movable objects, right?
Yeah, it should.
Yeah, that's fine. Cool. Okay, that's good enough.
So what we can do is we can try baking again and see what happens. If that doesn't work, I'll give you another set of lighting settings. We'll see how we go.
Let's just try this. Bake and bake. Twilight Princess Remix by DJ Oriju. Pretty solid. Radio Hyrule is just great music to just jam and work to. Oh, I should eat stuff. It's like, what is it? It's like 8 at night. Got some Twizzlers here. But yeah, okay, so after this lighting settings, I think some of the main things that I had on my agenda, personally, were make the 2 dorm rooms, color code the little the maps with the room colors.
Yeah.
And well, oh yeah, also adding portals so that I can add the portal to the USS Stetson map, because only the portal to my laboratory map is in here. And then a couple other random things like adding some Professor Layton music, because it's good, but I can do that. Like, it doesn't have to be for this specific update. But yeah, for these 28 jobs, isn't this the biggest step? At least from my experience.
Yeah.
From my experience watching this thing. It seems to be going pretty quickly. And doesn't
the lighting settings, it does not tell you how long it will take to complete. It doesn't give you an estimated time.
Yeah.
Which really sucks, but you can't help it.
Yeah. Okay, is there something else I want to change? Let's see. Let me. No time. Where's the mirror? Where's my pointer? Once it's 12 jobs. Okay. Huh.